New York City, December 4th, 2024, 6:45 in the morning. The streets are active but not yet crowded. Executives walk toward conference halls. Security teams scan the perimeter. Another corporate event in Midtown Manhattan. But within minutes, one calculated decision would transform an ordinary morning into a federal homicide investigation. The alleged shooter was not a career criminal, not a gang member, not someone with a documented violent past. He was a 26-year-old engineer, educated, structured, from Maryland, his name, Luigi Mangione. And according to federal prosecutors, this was not spontaneous violence, it was planned. Federal authorities allege that Mangione traveled from Maryland to New York roughly 10 days before the killing. He checked into a hostel, he stayed quietly, he observed. Investigators say he tracked the movements of Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, who was scheduled to attend an investor conference in Midtown. On the morning of December 4th, prosecutors state that Mangione positioned himself between two parked vehicles on West 54th Street. As Thompson walked toward the conference entrance, Mangione allegedly approached from behind and fired a single shot to the head. No argument, no confrontation, no visible emotional outburst, just execution. After the shooting, surveillance footage shows the suspect fleeing on a bicycle through Central Park, eventually disappearing from camera view. The entire act lasted seconds, but the preparation? Months. 5 days later, on December 9th, Luigi Mangione was arrested inside a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. According to authorities, an employee recognized him from circulated images and contacted law enforcement. When officers approached him, they allegedly discovered a 9mm handgun equipped with a suppressor. Prosecutors later stated that the weapon matched ballistic evidence from the crime scene. They also recovered false identification documents, and more significantly, handwritten materials, documents that investigators claim outline grievances, ideological frustrations, and justification narratives. Mangione has pleaded not guilty. Federal charges include interstate stalking and murder. Initially, prosecutors sought the death penalty. A judge later ruled that capital punishment would not apply. If convicted, Mangione faces life in prison. But the legal process is only part of this story. The psychological question is far more complex. What makes this case disturbing is not just the violence, it's the profile. Mangione was not socially marginalized in the traditional sense. He was educated, employed, cognitively capable. This places him in a rare category, the high-functioning offender. Research in forensic psychology shows that individuals with high intelligence and structured thinking are capable of prolonged cognitive rehearsal. They simulate outcomes. They calculate risk. They detach emotion from execution. Unlike impulsive offenders, high-functioning perpetrators often experience a psychological shift long before the act. This shift includes cognitive narrowing, moral reframing, and identity restructuring. Violence becomes not an explosion, but a conclusion. According to prosecutors, Mangione's writing suggests ideological motivations tied to the American healthcare system. This introduces a key psychological mechanism, moral ossification. When an individual reframes violence as a corrective action, they are no longer committing murder in their own mind, they are delivering justice. Psychologist Albert Bandura described this process as moral disengagement. The victim stops being a human being, they become a symbol, a representation of a system, an obstacle, and once a target is symbolic, empathy declines rapidly. The mind shifts from "this will hurt someone" to "this will send a message." That transition is critical, because once violence becomes communicative, it becomes structured. Another factor often present in high-planning offenders is control fixation. When individuals perceive systemic injustice, career stagnation, or personal insignificance, they experience ego destabilization, not humiliation in a public sense, but internal dissonance. a gap between self-image and perceived reality. For some, activism becomes the outlet. For others, writing. For a rare few, control must be reasserted physically. Planning becomes soothing. Structure reduces anxiety. Execution restores authorship. In this framework, the act is not chaotic. It is organized, intentional, almost clinical. That psychological coldness is what makes cases like this unsettling. Violence rarely appears overnight. It evolves quietly, through repeated internal arguments, through justification loops, through reinforcement of belief. The question investigators will likely explore is not simply, did he do it? But, when did the shift begin? Was it frustration, isolation, ideological radicalization, or something more subtle, a slow detachment from consequence? High-functioning offenders are rarely visibly unstable. They blend in, they attend meetings, they respond to emails. They sit across from you on public transportation. And sometimes, no one notices the narrowing. The Luigi Mangione case is still unfolding. In a courtroom, facts will be argued, evidence will be examined, and a jury will decide his legal fate. But outside the courtroom, there is a broader psychological question. How many individuals construct silent narratives of justification? How many feel structurally right, even when morally wrong? And how many hide behind competence? Because the most dangerous behavioral patterns are not loud. They are logical, they are disciplined, they are patient, and sometimes, they are sitting next to us. Have you ever noticed someone whose thinking became rigid, binary, emotionally detached? Someone who believed the system was broken, and that they alone understood the solution? Write your thoughts in the comments. This is Criminetics, decoding the criminal mind. If this kind of in-depth content matters to you, please subscribe, like, and share. Your support is what allows independent creators like me to continue producing.